Hey, it's Kim Komando today, your daily podcast to keep you up to date with all things digital and beyond. And I'd love to have you be a part of our podcast. You can make an appointment to speak with me. Just head over to Komando.com, and on the top right, there's a button that says Email Kim. Fill that out, and that's it. I always like to start with something interesting, and this totally fits the bill. In China, they have this big live stream fashion industry. Well, as it turns out, male models are now wearing the bras. What? That's right. Female lingerie models have been banned from modeling undergarments online in China. So these companies are now featuring male models wearing everything from push-up bras to tight-fitting corsets. It's really kind of disturbing to watch. China's live stream shopping scene is worth over $700 billion. And lingerie, they say, is a big part of it. And let me tell you, the male models are really rocking the lingerie. One guy wore a silky robe and the video went viral. Now, some people said he looked better than the female models, and I saw him. He did. Really. Which reminds me of, I don't know if you heard about this, but speaking of, sales of William Shatner's new line of women's lingerie have been shockingly low. They're trying to figure it out. Maybe Shatner Panties wasn't the best brand after all. Hey, on that happy note, welcome, yes, ladies and gentlemen, to this. I'm Kim Komando, America's digital goddess, with you once more. And you're about to get more tech smarts because, wow, every single thing in our life is now a tech thing. And our T-Mobile Unlimited listener line is now open at 1-888-825-5254 is the way to join us. And if you're just too dang shy to come on a show and podcast, I get that. You can drop me your questions right on our website. It's a little old school way to do it, but I like it. Head over to Komando.com, and in the upper right-hand corner, there's a link that says Email Kim. All right, every single day I check out at least 30 different websites so that this way you don't have to. And I can bring you up to date on the top 5 things you need to know about tech. And in this part of the show, I like to focus more about tech news. And we're going to start with what everybody on the internet's talking about, ChatGPT. And the New York Times says it best. Not since the very first iPhone has the belief run so deep that a new technology could change the world. But as fascinating as AI chat boxes are, we really have a problem because every company in the world is dreaming of ways to turn over all their customer interaction to ChatGPT. And why not? I mean, the thing's doing everything. Writing poems, social media posts, creating art, figuring out problems, actually writing entire books. But on some occasions, the chat AI bot, they can't be trusted. They go off the rails. A reporter for Vice, listening to this, he was experimenting with OpenAI's ChatGPT. And suddenly, wow, the thing was describing sex acts with children without the reporter even asking for such content. So just keep in mind that the AI chatbots, they will change the world, but for right now, they're pretty unpredictable and they can be dangerous. Next on our list is don't be in a situationship. What's that? Well, according to Tinder, 62% of 18 to 25-year-olds feel like they're speaking a different language when it comes to dating somebody older than them. So now they have come out with what they're calling the dating dictionary. So there are terms like cushioning. So what is cushioning? It's when you have several backup relationships to soften the blow that if your main one just doesn't last. It's like having a backup plan for your backup plan. And then there's situationship. Well, this is when you're in more than a hookup, but not quite a couple. It's that gray area that we all hate, but we can't seem to avoid. Next up is date view. It's when a date feels like an interview. And then, you're trying to sell yourself. A kitten fishing. Have any idea what that is? It's when you embellish certain aspects of your life to make yourself more appealing on these dating apps. It's kind of like catfishing, but not as bad. And finally, Riz. That's shorthand for charisma, basically meaning you're irresistible. So there you have it, folks, the modern dating dictionary. And if you're over 25 and you're feeling lost, don't worry, we got your back. Just remember that if you're ever in a situationship, cushioning is not the answer. And if you're kitten fishing, shame on you. You want to keep it real. Remember, Riz is the ultimate goal. All right, next up, how you're being pressured to overtip because you're out for dinner and the restaurants are using these touch screens or payment apps. And there's a good chance that you're feeling like, oh, I don't know why I have to tip so much. Because all these payment apps and touchscreens allow the restaurants to preset the gratuity. So this way they can close the transaction and you can just leave. Now, I usually tip 20% for normal service, and some people still tip 15%. But the other night I noticed these preset amounts were neither 15 or 20%. The touchscreen had four options: 18, 23, 29%, along with none. Now, restaurants know that under these circumstances, most people won't speak up because they're going to be embarrassed and they're quietly going to pay whatever tip selection is closest to the normal tip. But it's not your normal tip. So the thing is coercion. There's always the option of no tip. But I'll tell you, if you ever select that, just stay away from that eatery or business forever. Oh, and here coming in at number 4, yet another Tesla problem. Tesla's Model Y SUV is supposed to be super cool and futuristic. Well, it turns out that some drivers might be losing a key feature while they're on the road. It's bad. Their steering wheel. That's right. You heard me right. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration is investigating this after complaints were received about the Model Y's steering wheel coming off while driving. Yikes, that's frightening. A driver in Woodbridge, New Jersey was driving with his family when the steering wheel suddenly just came off. Luckily, he was able to pull over without causing any accidents. But wait, it actually gets better. When he took the car to the Tesla service center, they wanted to charge him $103.96 to fix the problem. Wow, are you kidding me? This is just the latest string of investigations and issues between Tesla and the NHTSA. The autopilot driver assist system has a habit of crashing into park emergency vehicles. And then there have been complaints of sudden braking too. Plus, this full self-driving software was recalled in February. Wow. So what do you call the combination of Tesla, SpaceX, and Twitter? What do you call the combination of Tesla, SpaceX, and Twitter? Anybody? Three Musketeers. Get it? The Three Musketeers. Oh, I know. And last, this coming in at number 5, the world's first flying bike is here, and it's taking the world by storm. It's called the X Turismo Luxury Air Cruiser. It's being touted as the world's first flying bike. But here's the kicker. It comes with a price tag of almost $555,000. So unless you got a spare fortune just laying around, you might have to stick to your regular little two-wheeler for now. But seriously, this flying bike is something else. It was inspired, they say, by the Star Wars universe. It looks like it's straight out of a sci-fi movie. It has these 2 large central rotors running at 228 horsepower, gas-fueled Kawasaki motor, an electric battery just powering 4 fans on the vehicle's outer edges to keep it stable during the ride. But let's just say what the best part is. It looks like a speeder bike that was used in the Galactic Empire and Return of the Jedi. So if you're a Star Wars fan and you always want to feel like you're cruising through the forest, this might be the chance for you. And I'll tell you, I used to confuse Star Wars with Star Trek all the time. I was just like, I'm not sure about this. Well, I'll tell you, it was just a Wookiee mistake. Hey, listen, we have so much to cover. You don't want to miss a moment. Like, for example, why your home needs its very own email address, 5 signs that you need a brand new phone, and a letter from our listener mail, how you can make money with your very own email newsletter. And then later on, it's a thing that we all suffer from. You have too many streaming services, you're watching too many shows, and you're trying to figure out which ones to keep and when the new episodes drop. Well, I have the solution for you. And of course, we have all of your great phone calls on the Kim Komando Today podcast. Hey, our T-Mobile Unlimited listener line is now open at 1-888-825-5254 is the way to join us. And just a quick reminder, if you're just too shy to come on my show, you can always drop me your questions over at the website. That's komando.com. And in the upper right-hand corner, there's a link that says Email Kim. I read every single email that you guys and gals send me personally. So just know that I'm looking at every single one. And while you're at the website, do me a favor and sign up for our free newsletters. Head to komando.com/subscribe. There's also a link at the top that says free email newsletters. And you want to make sure that you get the news and the tips. Those are great. Oh, and the security alerts too. So that's komando.com/subscribe. All right, let's head to the phones right now. And Ron in Tucson, Arizona, you're our first caller.
Hi, Kim.
Welcome.
Well, I'm calling today because I have a friend. She is what we feel is my wife and I. She's being cyber stalked by her ex-husband. And I'm calling you because, we feel she's in denial. We're wondering if we're making too big a deal about it. and
Mm-hmm.
we want to tell her something to do. And we're just don't know if we're going too far and not far enough. And do we tell
Well,
her?
tell me what's going on. I mean, what's happening? And because if it's not bothering her, is there really an issue?
Okay. Well, she's concerned, but she doesn't think he would actually go too far. And that was her word. I don't think he will go too far with this. We just learned, by the way, since I called your assistant, that years ago, when she first got married, her husband had put tracking software on her phone without her knowledge. And when she found out, he took it off and promised he would never do it again. She's been divorced about 3-4 weeks now, but he calls her and says, I know who you were with the other day. Were you having an affair with him the whole time we were married? She initiated the divorce, by the way, in part because of his controlling behaviors. He knows when she's out of town, and he's let her know, where have you been? Why are you gone? And so we just don't know if we should tell her to throw away her phone. He let her have all the furniture, throw away all your furniture. I mean, that's kind of extreme, but how far does she go to make sure she's safe?
If he knows where she is, Ron, there's probably a tracker on her phone, or there's one in her car. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And did he leave the house, or is she still living in the house that they lived in?
She's still living in the house until she sells it.
Okay. All right. So let's start. Okay. Let's start at the house. Okay. If she's living in that house, she needs to get a new router.
Okay.
Because he probably has access to the wireless network. And even if she changed the password, he may have turned on something called remote access. So he can get into the router. Once he's into the router, he can conceptually see anything that's on the network, up to and including if her phone is on the Wi-Fi. So that's why the router, a lot of people forget about the router. So that's why I want to start there. Number two is that she can, walk around the house we have some RF detectors. There's one on Amazon that we recommend that's about $50. And she can see if there are any cameras that may have been hidden there. She can also look in the router and to look at the logs to see what type of devices are still connected to that router. And if she sees a MAC address that she's not familiar with, then she can say, oh, well, what is that? And then she knows that if it says like there are 10 devices on the network, and between the TV and her smart light, she can count 6, then we know that we have more. Okay?
Okay.
So then with her phone, do a complete factory reset. Make sure that he's also not still on the phone account, because sometimes you can see some phone records that way online. Make sure he's not part of the iCloud account. A divorce is really a tricky situation. I actually wrote a USA Today column about this, about all the steps that you need to take when you get divorced to make sure that your digital life is totally separate from that now ex-person. And so let's walk you through all of these in that USA Today column. We're going to send you a link out to that so you can share this with your friend, because there are a lot of things that you may not have thought about. We have some shared cloud accounts. We have a shared Dropbox. Maybe we are still each other's friends on Facebook. And it's just because your lives are not just physically intertwined anymore. They are digitally intertwined. And what we'll do is we'll post this up on the website for everybody to take a look at. We'll refresh it so this way it'll be on the homepage. But in case you ever need information about this, it's over at Komando.com. Just search for, in the box, just say divorce, and I'm sure this is going to be one of the top feature stories that pops up for you. But one of the things that I do want to leave you with, Ron, because you seem very, very concerned about your friend, and rightfully so, and using that word controlling. Controlling is a red flag. It's a red flag for domestic violence, emotional abuse, domestic abuse. Just, remind your friend that if she feels unsafe or believes that she's being stalked or harassed, that she may want to consider seeking help from a local domestic violence shelter or call that hotline. Ron, you're a great friend for calling, and you're a great person, and thanks for reaching out. It's a big problem. You definitely need to take a lot of steps. And like I said before, they're outlined in a USA Today column that I've posted over on our website at komando.com. So some things that you really just want to do immediately is you want to log out all your devices anytime you get divorced, especially shared ones like a family computer or a tablet. You want to definitely disable location tracking on all your devices, like your phone, your laptop, your tablet. This will prevent your ex from tracking your whereabouts through your devices. And you want to check for some tracking apps if you think that maybe he or she put something on one of your devices. And the bottom line here is I know it's a total hassle. Nobody wants to do it. But if you get divorced, it's probably a great idea to get a brand new phone number, a brand new phone with a brand new carrier. This will prevent them from contacting you and tracking you through your phone. And I know it's extreme, but again, if you are getting divorced, you know somebody who is, make sure that you head over to our website, komando.com, and search for that whole big column that I wrote about what to do once you get divorced. All right, let's switch gears just a little bit and let's talk about your home. And if you have at least one email address, that's good for you. Maybe you have more than one. You have one for newsletters, one for shopping, and one for personal friends, and then one for coworkers. You get my drift. But your home needs its very own email address too. And before you say, Kim Komando, you're crazy. Well, this is why this makes total sense. An email address for your home lets you track everything from property taxes to projects all in one place. Heck, you could even use the home's email address for its own Pinterest account for maybe get some remodeling inspiration. So you start by creating a brand new email address. The easiest way is to use Gmail because here you use that plus sign trick. You get an instant free email address. Just add a plus sign, the word home before the @ sign, and then messages come right to you. Next step is that you're going to make an email filter that puts that home's email address right into a separate mailbox folder. So this way you can round up all the emails already in your inbox and forward them to the new address. Now you have your home's contacts in one email box along with any other correspondence. And any new email for your home will go straight to this mailbox too. Super sweet, super nice, keeps things really easy breezy. All right, coming up in just a few moments, 5 clear-cut signs that you need a brand new phone. And I'm so excited to tell everybody how you can make money with your very own email newsletter. And we have more of your phone calls you don't want to miss on the Kim Komando Today podcast. Okay, so you've been streaming all these shows. You're so confused. I don't know which service it's on. I don't know when new episodes are going to drop. Maybe I should cancel and get rid of this one and sign up for this one. Well, later on this hour, I'm going to tell you how you can solve all of those issues with just one website. Yes. Before we go back to all of your phone calls, let's talk about your phone. How about 5 signs that you need a brand new phone? Smartphones are great. They do a ton of things, but maybe it's time to get a new one. Like, for example, number 1, battery life. If you've noticed that your phone always needs a charge, it could be a sign that the device just isn't keeping up any longer. Next up, storage space. If you're constantly removing photos, text messages, apps to make room for new ones, it might be time to get a device with more storage space. Next up, performance, running slow, freezing, crashing frequently. The hardware is probably struggling to stay afloat. Next up, number 4, updates. If it's no longer receiving any software updates, okay, just go get a new phone. And last on our list is damage. If your phone has a few bruises like a cracked screen or water damage, you might as well get a new phone. Sometimes the cost of repairing a phone is pretty darn close to what a new phone costs anyway. All right, Charles in San Antonio, Texas. Glad to have you with us.
Hi, Kim. Thanks for taking my call. Appreciate it.
You betcha. Anytime. What's going on?
Well, I've got I'd call it an odd question. I drive for the 2 big rideshare companies. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you want me
Uber and Lyft?
Leave their names out or not. Yes, exactly.
No, that's okay. It's Uber and Lyft. Yeah, we know it.
Everyone knows it, right? And I'd like to do something for my passengers to make myself stand out a little bit. It's a little bit weird. What I'd like to do is I use an iPhone 7, and I'd like to start tethering my iPad Mini 2 by Wi-Fi to it, and then put the iPad into parental mode to lock it down to one particular music app, like, say, for instance, Apple Music or What's the other one I'm thinking of?
Spotify, Pandora, anything. Yeah,
something like that. And I'd like to be able to allow them the ability to choose their own music instead of having to listen to whatever I choose, which I get a lot of compliments on, but at the same time, wouldn't it be cool if they could choose what they wanted to listen to? I wouldn't call it a problem.
You know, it's a really great idea, Charles. But the implementation is not going to be the best. And let me explain why. Like, there are some apps you can use, like one is called Amp Me. And it's really so that, but you would need the app, they would need the app. Okay. On Apple Music, you need to have Apple Music, they need to have Apple Music. And then maybe it might not always work in parental mode. And then you're also looking at kind of somewhat of a tech issue, because then you're going to have to walk them through step by step on how to do this. They've got to open their Apple Music, open a playlist, then connect to your iPad, and let's hope that the cellular connection is really good, or the Wi-Fi in the car is working great. And so we want to make life easy. So here's what I would do. Okay, I would buy a nice, crazy-looking Bluetooth speaker, and I would figure out how to put that on a headrest, attach that to a headrest so it couldn't be stolen, right?
Right. That's what I'm planning.
And this way, if they want to connect to the Bluetooth speaker with their playlist, Spotify, Pandora, whatever it is, we're not limited to Apple Music, that they just have to connect to the Bluetooth speaker and then they can play whatever they want. JBL has something called a clip, and you can attach it to your car's visor. But really, I'm thinking of something like Bose has a speaker. It's called the SoundLink Micro. And it's really great to be used in a car because it comes with a tear-resistant strap. So you can attach this Bluetooth speaker to the back of a headrest, and they won't be able to pull it off. Right. It has excellent sound quality. It has a battery life up to 6 hours. And what I also like about it, Charles, is that it comes in orange. How cool is that? So in a dark back seat, they're going to see this big orange Bose speaker, which Bose makes incredible sound, right? And you're probably going to have to tell them to turn it down. Okay, so that's just the way it is. But I think that's a great idea. I think it's really cool. I just don't want you to get wrapped up in a ride where somebody says, in the comments, I tried to hook up to my to the driver's iPad and just it didn't work. I mean, a Bluetooth speaker, I'm serious. I think that's just the way to go. And if you find that the battery life isn't that good, take a look at the Anchor, something called the Sound Core. It's also pretty good. It has 24-hour battery life. And so the Anchor has 24. I like the Bose because it comes with that tear-resistant strap. So that's why it makes me feel good that nobody's going to be stealing. They're about $200, which I know is a lot for a Bluetooth speaker. The Anchor is about half the price. Charles, thank you for your call. Hang on the line. Maddie's going to send you a link to a couple of these speakers so you can check them all out. That's a great idea. But if you're an Uber or Lyft driver, let me tell you, I always like it when I get offered free bottled water, maybe some peppermints or snacks. I think that's a good idea. Definitely always have a phone charger or a charging cord available for your passengers to use. And finally, this is always a big pet peeve of mine. I get inside an Uber and Lyft and the car stinks. I don't mean like it stinks like poo-poo. It stinks like too much air freshener or too much cologne or too much perfume. That just gives people a headache. And so, just keep that in mind. It just makes sense. All right, here's a letter from my listener mail. Hey, Kim, I know you're the newsletter queen. Thank you. I love all your newsletters. Appreciate that. I'm a nutritionist in Chicago, and I have a small TikTok following, about 10,000 people. How can I start making money with a newsletter like you? All right. This is really a great way to make money, especially if you have a loyal audience who's insanely interested in the content that you produce. So here are some steps to get started. Number one, you want to identify your niche. Okay, you're a nutritionist. What exactly are you going to cover? And it's important to have a clear understanding before you start creating all this content. Next up, you want to choose an email marketing platform. They have names like Substack, MailChimp, ConvertKit, Aweber. Choose a platform that fits your needs and budget. If you're just getting starting out, Substack makes it super easy. Then, of course, next, you're going to build your email list. You're going to beg people to sign up, right? You're going to use social media, your website, any channel that you can think of to promote your newsletter, encourage people to sign up. And of course, number 4 on our list is that you're going to create valuable content. It should be informative, engaging, and sometimes you might want to offer exclusive content or discounts so that people say, yeah, I need to subscribe. Now, as far as monetizing the newsletter, there are several ways to make money from your new email newsletter. You can sell advertising. You can offer sponsored content. You can promote affiliate products, say that you're going to do a deal with Amazon. Now, how much money can you make? That's always the $100,000 question. There are so many different factors, such as the size of the list, the engagement rate of the subscribers, the frequency, the quality of your content. Some successful newsletter writers make anywhere from a few $100s a month to tens of thousands of dollars a month. So to give you an idea, a newsletter with a few thousand highly engaged subscribers can earn a few hundred through sponsorships, affiliate marketing, or selling digital products like ebooks or courses. But again, that number can be thousands of dollars. It could actually turn into a full-time income for you as the writer. So if you want to check out our newsletters, if you haven't already, head over to komando.com/subscribe. Now, one big component of these email newsletters and money is your open rate. So these are the percentage of people who open your email, obviously. So a decent open rate is 40%. A decent open rate, it's considered good at 40%. Our open rate is consistently over 60%. So you always want to get that number as high as possible. So if you want to check out our newsletters, it's really simple to do. They're free, 100% free. You can unsubscribe at any time. Head over to komando.com/subscribe. All right, still to come, we have more of your phone calls as well as how to keep track of all your streaming shows that you're watching and know when new episodes drop. And of course, we have me, Kim Komando. Kevin in San Antonio, Texas, welcome.
Hello, Kim. By the way, huge fan for several years. I'm a retired Air Force and heard you first overseas, but during the Gulf War. What I'd like to get information on from you is I have a wife who is handicapped, wheelchair bound, and has a condition called cerebellar degeneration, which means she has trouble coordinating things, including seeing and speaking. And she drops phones, runs over phones, and I'm trying to get a better way to communicate with her when I'm not in the house. I have an iPhone 13 mini, and she has my old 6S iPhone, and it's falling apart, and they don't even support it anymore. So I thought before I get a new phone, I'd like to talk with you, or at least run something by you, or hear what you think about issues related.
Well, there's a couple of things that come to mind. Number one, have you ever heard me talk about the Amazon Echo Show?
The Amazon Echo Show. Yes, I think I have. Yeah.
Okay, so the reason why this comes to mind is that when you're not there, you could put a 5-inch, 8-inch, 10-inch Amazon Echo Show, and then you could say, Alexa, I want to drop in on my wife. And then that screen will, about 10 seconds, it'll show you your wife, where she, as far as, as long as she can see the screen. And then you can say, hey, honey, how are you? And then she'll, you guys can go back and forth and ask her if she needs anything. And then you could just hang up on the app on your iPhone, and then that's it. Okay. It's
and it doesn't require her to do. I mean, when I wake it up, it doesn't require her to do anything other than to answer me. Is that correct?
That's correct. She doesn't have to touch a button, and accordingly, she can say, "I want to speak to Kevin."
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then your phone will ring.
Okay.
So we're not dealing with a whole bunch of buttons and things like that. And there are some other features of this Amazon Echo Show, like if she ever needed emergency services. And then some of these cost $20 a month, but think of it as a really souped up speakerphone and video phone. And it's really just a fabulous thing that might give you peace of mind because then you could see her if she doesn't ever answer the phone. Okay. So, okay. So that said, let's talk about a phone. There's a company called Jitterbug, and they have a phone that's called the Flip 2. It's the Flip 2. And it's got big, bright buttons. It has large screens. It also has some other cool things that it can be used as a magnifier and a flashlight. And it's really simple to navigate. It also works on Amazon Alexa, so she could use it to make calls. She could just say, Alexa, call Kevin, and then you would be called. Okay. Because what we want to do is we want to make it super easy for her. So she's not trying to go, okay, well, number one, where's the number? Number two, how do I, where's the button, right?
Right.
And just like the Amazon Echo Show is that with this Flip 2, it also has an urgent response button. And it has one-touch speed dialing. And, the phone is about $100, and then it's $15 a month. The Amazon Echo Show, you can find them on sale probably for about $80, $90. And there is no cost unless you sign up they have what they call like a caregiver package. And the caregiver package will remind your wife to take her medicine if she needs to take meds. It will alert you if she hasn't moved over a certain period of time. Okay. She can also call emergency services. So if you can swing it, I would probably get her the phone and look at the Amazon Echo Show.
Right.
Just because it will give you. I know when I was caring for my mom, when I could say, drop in on mom, and she would be sitting right there, and I could see her, it just gave me total peace of mind. Especially when her phone would be dead, I'd be like, "Come on, mom, charge phone, okay?" And then I go right over to marching over to her house and then yelling at her because she didn't charge her phone. Okay, so
been there, got that. You got the T-shirt. Yeah, I understand.
Okay. All right, so you know what I'm talking about. So take a look at the Amazon Echo Show. I've got tons of information about it on my website. And then as far as the phone, look at the Jitterbug Flip 2. And thanks for being a listener all these years. And also thank you for your service to our country. That's pretty amazing. We appreciate it. And Kevin, if you need any additional help, just know we're always here for you. That Echo Show is phenomenal. Aside from video calls, you can also get medication reminders, calendar and appointment reminders. And this is really sweet, too. The Echo Show can control your smart home devices, too, like your smart lights and thermostats. It can be used to play music, audiobooks, news, and get the weather. I mean, it's really just a great all-around gadget, especially in these type of situations. Sometimes I forget that I live in this whole tech industry. I was walking this morning with a friend of mine, Joe, and I was talking about Theranos, and she had no idea about Theranos, what it is, what it did. And then I shot her a text afterwards. I'm like, you have to watch all about Theranos. It's called The Dropout on Hulu. So if you haven't watched that series on Hulu, it's definitely worth checking out. But when you're watching so many different shows, it's easy to lose track of two things: where your show is streaming, and after you've watched all the episodes of the seasons of that one, when do the new ones drop? So here's a clever fix. Well, first of all, there are about 150 channels and streaming services to watch, which is like way too many. But there are only two sites that make you say, yes, thank you, Kim Komando. One is called Real Good, spelled R-E-E-L, like the film Real, and the other is called Just Watch. You go to either site, download the app, and once you sign up, you can check out all the channels and streaming services that you have. Then you can add the shows or the movies that you watch or want to watch, and then it really just makes it so easy to keep track of all this. So let's say you had a great show you watched called For All Mankind. Then you're going to be notified when new episodes are coming. Either Real Good or Just Watch works on any show and upcoming movies that you want to see. Super sweet. I love it. Hey, do me a favor. If you laughed, you learned just one thing. Tell 3 friends about the Kim Komando Show and the Kim Komando Today podcast, because everyone needs more tech smarts. And you can find me 24/7 over at Komando.com.
This program is a copyrighted production of Westar Multimedia Entertainment and protected by the copyright laws. Any rebroadcast or use of this program for commercial, business, economic, or financial purposes without the written permission of Westar Multimedia Entertainment is strictly prohibited.